We have an amazing guest, don't we?
Yes, thank you. We have an amazing comedian with us. We're gonna bring her up right now. She's like, no. We have
What am I walking into?
Heather Rogue. Yes, welcome.
Hello.
I'm unmuted. How's everyone doing?
Yeah.
I'm going pretty good too. Like I've had a couple beers.
Going and doing.
So,
Hey, Heather.
but not while I'm on here. So
It's good to be here. I was just shopping on Amazon for some hearing aids.
You won't regret it. The gossip is juicy in every direction.
It's like I love to people watch, so that sounds like a dream come true. You know, just put sunglasses on, throw my hearing aids on, sit in a restaurant, and just start. What do I want to listen to now? You know.
You want to know what the craziest part is? My hearing aids have Bluetooth, so when I get calls, nobody can tell I'm on the phone. They just think I'm talking to myself, and I'm left alone. Nobody approaches me. Nobody catcalls me. They think I'm the crazy lady. I love it.
Yeah, you know, it used to be where you could tell who the crazy people were, but then they invented cell phones, and it just like went out the window. And now you're like, do I see something on their ear or not? I can't tell, you know?
yeah, it used to be the guy talking to himself during breakfast in Vegas just had lost his money, not that he was doing a business thing.
You could clearly tell that that guy was distraught, right? And nowadays, you can't tell. Everyone's just talking to themselves. No one talks to each other anymore. Like interpersonally, you know?
Don't talk to me. Like my message. Hit me in the
I don't
DM.
want to talk to people. Like my sister deleted her social media, and she calls me now on my phone, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk to you right now. I just follow what I'm doing, and I'll follow what you're doing, and we'll have this kind of relationship, you know? Just kidding. I love my sister. I love talking to her. Sometimes I don't want to talk to anyone, you know? Just follow me and let me be antisocial.
Right.
And those times are called the holidays.
You know what? That's the only reason I personally hate talking on the phone. I hate it so much. The pandemic has been awful because people have nothing better to do, so they keep calling me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't tell them I'm busy because I'm really not, and I don't have that valid excuse anymore. And the craziest part is I don't want to really talk to anybody, but now I'm like talking to my dog. Like, I'm crazy. What is wrong with me? I won't have a normal conversation, but I will talk about kibble with my dog now.
I feel like a lot of people talk to animals. Like, I talk to animals that aren't even mine. I'll just see a cat outside and start a conversation and act like they're answering me. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Meow? Okay.
Meow.
Exactly.
It's subtle. It's like one of those Eastern words that means 1,000 different things. You say it just depends on the subtlety of how you say it. Meow. Meow. Meow.
That's the good.
Oh, wait,
Walk
no,
away.
that's you.
Like, hey, you want to go out on a date?
Stay away from a cat who goes, hey, you want to give me some milk?
Imagine just some cheesy ass 40-year-old cat just like, what's up, baby? How you doing today? Couldn't help but notice you from across the room. You're looking pretty fly.
Licking his paws?
That was pretty much the idea of Primus's Tommy the cat. Yeah, he was a
Let me
big
rub
cat.
my ears against you and get my scent glands all over you.
I'm going to rip up this product carpet. Why? Because it's in a corner, and fuck you.
Oh, yeah, that's yes.
Oh, is this valuable? I'm sorry.
You like these curtains, do you, Jerry? Do you?
I'm here to wreck your life.
Sorry.
You sometimes realize if a human like roommate did the things your cat does, you'd kick him out really fast. But you're going to keep it because it's small and it was minor.
Yeah, but you ever feel like you have a roommate that you expect them to at least be better than a cat, and then they still disappoint you?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about anyone here, but
You guys.
hate it when my roommate uses the cat box.
Oh,
Exactly. It's like we have a bathroom. You know.
At least bury it. God damn it, Gary.
so what drew you into stand-up comedy, Heather?
Oh, we're getting into the questions now. Is that what we're doing?
Good at
Guess we'll
good
talk about
at the transitions.
So, a week before I turned 30 years old. I'm just trying to do this with it. So, basically, a friend of mine killed himself. Super funny. And I was really distraught about it. And a friend of mine was like, let's go to an open mic. And I was like, why not? Fuck it. And I already did spoken word poetry. So I'm used to like standing up on stage. It's not like a big thing for me. And so I signed up for the open mic. I'm like, screw it. Worst that is going to happen is I'm going to bomb and not give a shit because fuck all of these people. And I didn't bomb. I actually did really well. And it was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to keep doing it. But I didn't. Like, I did maybe one show every, like, 3 months. I would find time to, like, go to an open mic. And so it wasn't really taking off for me immediately. And then Dave Chappelle released Sticks and Stones back in, like, August of 2019, I want to say. And that was, it kind of lit a fire underneath me where I was, like, suddenly feeling like this isn't just something I like doing that I'm good at. This is like a calling, and I need to do this for the good of my community and society. And so it kind of drew me to, it's like I recognized like I have this skill to offer the world, and I'm going to offer it, you know? And so then I started going to open mics like 3-4 times a week. And it really never stopped until COVID happened. But even then, I got completely canceled by COVID. All my shows got canceled. But it's good. At least I didn't get canceled for something like sexual harassment. But you know,
there's still time.
There's still time. You're right. There's plenty of time to be canceled for my whole fucking life. But
Oh God.
But yeah, so yeah, COVID happened, but I Zoom, like, I can't turn it off now, so I still do open mics. I'm probably doing the least amount of comedy now than I've been doing since Sticks and Stones came out. Like, I've been doing maybe 1 or 2 open mics a week and 1 show a week, and that's 1 or 2 shows a week, and that's about it. And that's like nothing for me. That's like me being depressed and like not being able to like go for it. You know what I mean? That's like me feeling demotivated in comedy right now. And I'm still here doing an interview, so I mean.
Heather, what show were we on? We were on a Dat Fan. What show were we on? We were on a show together.
Oh, that's right. We were on Dat Fan together.
Who was Dat Fan? Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun, right? Dat Fan's an interesting show.
Yeah. And that was my first time ever seeing you. Just a lot of fun. Always fun on those shows. Always fun.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Yeah, it was great to see you. You were funny. Like I want to keep doing shows with you if I can.
Oh my gosh, I would love it. I would love it. And stay with Dad. I'm on a Dad show Saturday. Mm-hmm.
I'll hit him up again to do more shows soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm in kind of a depression mode. I've been doing my liar mics, and that's pretty much it.
Right. That's good. Those are good mics. We just had Keith, and what's Keith's partner's name, you guys? Yeah, they were just here last week. So I feel like I'm late on the slopes getting to that mic. So yay.
They already booked up. I got to it too late.
Yeah. You got to answer the email like within an hour if you want to.
Oh, I know. It's so fast now. I was actually on the phone with my sister earlier today, and I got the email, and I was like, "Bitch, hold on. I gotta fucking take care of this real quick, or I'm not getting on the mic."
And we're not talking about like for one. It's like for the whole 3 days in a row. They're like they're booked up, and so I always miss it because I have an office job. But
Well, I'm gonna get on the email and see if I can get in there. So yay!
There needs to be more late open mics, like starting at 10 p.m. But
There you
doesn't
go.
happen.
flappers every. Oh no, 8:30 is not late enough for you, Dan.
No, like that's good, but let's have another one at 10 p.m. at some point. Somebody do it.
We'll have to start one. We'll have to get a group at least of 3 of us because we're gonna have to rotate days if people can't do. You want to at least
doing one on Thursday that might also be connected. I don't know if it's going to be connected to Liar yet or not, but I'd like it to be because I don't have my own Zoom account, so I would need to backpack off of somebody.
Well, let me know. I got one. I got a Zoom account.
Oh yeah. Well, if you want me to host, if you start a mic and you want me to host one of the nights, I'm down.
Oh yeah. Oh, we gonna talk.
Cool.
We gonna talk. We gotta get
there's a lot of has anybody heard of Rampantly? Like there's these there's a couple of so I found 2 platforms. I'm trying to, but I think Rampantly is through Wix. So you have to go through the Wix app to do it or something. So I'm trying to kind of untangle that. And then there's another one like stand up. Was it free stand-up comedy? Like I have to find it, but it was another platform that does the same thing, allows comics to come in and host mics through there. And Twitch has become, once you guys get the Zoom going, even though I know mics aren't necessarily shows, but there's just so many avenues. But there is some people that are doing their mic though through the Rampantly. Is it rampant.ly? Like I can't recall. Like
I know what you're talking. I did a couple of their mics. I would they're awesome. Just make sure for anybody listening, if you're going to do the Rampantly mics, make sure you have a window of time. These are not like 5 people.
Right. Mics. That's what I saw. But I was shouting it out as something that you guys. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. As you and Heather, like that's maybe an avenue for doing.
Bring your beer.
Right. Bring your beer, your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. Sounds like bring all your snacks. Bring everything.
Yeah.
And bring
7 hot dogs, not just 5. 7 hot dogs.
And the porta potty.
I think if you can keep it under what would you say, Heather? Under 13 at 5 minutes? Because
under 13 comics at 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What do you think is the biggest number, or anybody? What do you think?
Honestly, it just depends on what you're trying to do. But 10 comics, 5 minutes, because that's 50 minutes
of
a solid
mic.
And that's the worst you want to do is to get up to 12 because that's 60, but you got to know you're going to run 10 or 15 minutes over, so you run into about an hour and 15 between the in-betweens, introductions, and getting things open. But 10 comics out of fairness and love, because you also, I think what's important about even open mics, something that I've started to take advantage of is learning how to do good callbacks. Like that's, to me, that is a skill within the skill. Like of really, and to me, when you get so many people on a mic, and it's no diss because we all need somewhere to go, you can't the rules, whatever the rules are. You can't do a callback off of the early comics because by the time they get to you, nobody's gonna remember what the fuck they said. You know what I'm saying? There's all these things. So
I kind of I agree that that's a bad idea generally, in general principle, but it depends. So some things that are early in the show are going to stick in people's minds, and then you can, especially if the host already tagged it, then it just is reinforced enough that you can then hit it again. But that's what I've been doing in mics lately is almost pure callbacks, because there's no experiences for me to draw upon to write new jokes. I'm just I'm putting myself at the end of the list and just pretty much sitting there writing callbacks the whole time until I go up, and then I'll maybe throw in 2 jokes that aren't callbacks and riff in between, and that's been my last 3 weeks.
Which is dope though, because, and I agree, if the first couple of things were that stand out, but otherwise it's a big risk. But to your point, it is a very powerful skill to build to be able to do a set off callbacks, because I've heard some people do it and it'd be okay. I've heard some people do it and I'm just when is this part going to be over? When are they going to get it? Not as a diss, but just if you're going to, when you start doing them, because all these are axes to sharpen, not, because sometimes if it's too listy, not that they're bad, but if it's too listy sounding, then it sounds like a list. It doesn't sound like anything that you. So that's why I say it's a skill. I don't know this. I'm sorry. That probably did sound bad, but that's not what I was saying. Just that is. I really do think it's a skill to build, and I think that's what longer mics can help anybody do, because you could take a grouping, and I've seen, and that's what I saw you do on our show where you spent some time with the callbacks, and I'm always nervous because I notice on a 5-minute set you do more than 3 callbacks and you're really fucking with your own time. You're fucking with your material, if you've got a set.
Right, and that's the thing though, is like lately I haven't had a set, and it's let me, like, I have I have my type 5, I have got a type 15 if I want it. I've got a type 30 that I'm working on, but but like in the meantime, it's like a lot of what I'm doing is just showing up to the mics to keep the routine going while I'm going through this like writer's block or whatever. And so I'm just like writing while I'm in the show. And so that's why I end up with a lot of callbacks. But to your point, like a lot of times you make a callback, and if you are just going through a list and trying to like reference jokes without layering another joke on top of it, it's not gonna, people are gonna get fatigued on it. Like it's cute at a couple times, but you're right, it doesn't work long term. You have to actually be writing new jokes.
Right. And I want to share this. It's a if you were in church, we'd call it a testimony. I was doing a bunch of shows with Mayor Chohan, Jokes from Home, and one of the themes that I heard often on every mic, because he has so many brown people on there, is that everybody fussed about parents who badger them about getting married. Like, I swear, if I had money for every time a South Asian, Indian comic complained about their parents harassing them. So the callback that I started building was that, my dad has never asked me. No one has ever harassed me about getting married. And interestingly enough, Heather, like there was.
Maybe they think you're gay. I don't know. Sorry.
I was about to say, must be nice.
No. But it's okay. So, Heather, it's also very funny that you should say that. I have something I want to share, but I want to make sure I don't want to ever be offensive. But what ended up happening in terms of that callback is I was able to build. I ended up having some bits that I wanted to work. And because of that callback, I was able to build a whole bit that was started out with the "I'm so single," and then it eventually ends with "My dad has never asked me to get married," and that it ended up that the callback helps me build a bit, and so that's why I think that that callback thing is a skill. I pray that this comes out correctly. What you just said, maybe they think you're gay. When I was in college, I wore my hair short. Like everybody that knows me in the comedy world knows me for this. But even before this, when I got to LA, I was wearing my hair cut short. And in the, I would say, late 80s, 90s, hip hop was experiencing this kind of like Black Power resurgence type of movement. I don't know if anybody was of age, but I was in college at that time. And so a lot of us who had like coarser, thicker hair, where we were cutting our hair and putting it kind of like in this high top kind of our Nefertiti thing, wearing the big earrings, doing the whole thing. And I remember when I was in school, when I first did, everybody's like, "Oh my God, your eyes!" But there just came this point where people were like, "Well, you should wear big earrings. You should not wear studs." And then there was this other point where I heard that people were saying that I was a dyke, because unfortunately, that's the language we were, people were reduced to at the time. So fast forward to 2 days ago, someone put up a college yearbook picture that I was on. And when I saw the picture, because I've seen that picture before, but all of a sudden I was like, "Oh my God, you look like a dyke." And that's why everyone in college thought you were a dyke, because that's what, and I say that meaning of that time. Like that's obviously it's not at all, a word I mess with now, but I was cracking up because when I looked at the picture, I was like, "Oh, that's why everybody," and I wouldn't say everybody, I was dating, I was doing whatever, but I heard that that's what people thought about me. I didn't care either way, but I just heard it. But at the time I was like, I don't understand why. But now 20 whatever amount of years later, I'm looking at the picture like, oh, okay. That's why.
Did you drive a Subaru?
I did not. It's so funny. But anyway.
And why would they think that? I don't understand. If you didn't drive a Subaru, they should.
Right.
Yeah. This is a hetero.
Right.
But to answer your question, that was extremely offensive.
Okay.
Hit in my soul right now.
I'm zipping my lips because I.
So, who are some of your favorite comedians? Or I know you named one, Dave Chappelle. Is there any other comedians that you feel have influenced your style or technique?
Yeah.
really look up?
Yeah. So my comedic influences, right? So yeah, Dave Chappelle is an influence. He used to be one of my favorites back his first two specials, like after the Chappelle show, talking about the kid on the corner selling drugs, talking about the guy masturbating in the bus. Like
everybody loves those.
Chappelle. And since then, I've had new favorites, but he is an influence. Like I said, he set a fire underneath me that drove me to do comedy, drove me. Whereas other people, it's like, oh, I want to be like them, but they didn't, create that fire. But like other people I like, Anthony Jeselnik is... I was once called Anthony Jeselnik in drag, and I've never been so flattered and offended at the same time. Like, I didn't even know what to say. It's like, no, this is not drag. I do this all the time. It's not a performance. But thank you, by the way. Thank you. That's... And then I don't really take my comedic style from her so much, but Hannah Gadsby, I have to do a shout out because I like the way that she challenged a lot of conventions that I had already, kind of comprehended as just the way it is. I thought you had to be funny the whole time, and then I'm watching your special and I'm crying at the end and I'm still enjoying it. And that to me was very profound because it showed me that as long as you can hold people's attention and Dave Chappelle does the same thing, and I also take this from him, which is he'll just stop doing punchlines for 10 straight minutes, and I think that I really like that. I think that first you have to figure out how to have a very tight hour that you can showcase the fact that you're not just doing a fucking TED Talk, right? But I think once you get to a certain point that they got to, then you get to start breaking these conventions, and I love it. I live for it because it's I just like rebels, I like people who fucking challenge conventions. And anytime someone tells me something is a rule, I'm automatically thinking how do I break this or find a way around it? You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
Very powerful.
You mentioned that because it kind of reminds me of when I first saw Christopher Titus, who does the roller coaster emotions. You're laughing, and then he's like, "Oh," and then this happened. Wham!
Yes.
And then you come in, you're laughing, and then wham! He does it again. He's like, "Yeah," and then something else happened in my life that's actually fucking true.
I have to mention, by the way, speaking of that, I also have to give a shout out to Nathan Fielder and Sacha Baron Cohen, which the Nathan Fielder has his show Nathan for You, and Sacha Baron Cohen's career, but their ability to make people uncomfortable and just drive up that cringe. I love what is it? The guy who co-wrote Seinfeld, his later show,
Larry David. Oh
yeah,
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. That show was cringy, but it doesn't touch the reality kind of shit that Nathan Fielder does or Sacha Baron Cohen that just it sparks so much joy in me to watch. And it's something I want to emulate so badly, of just being able to make people uncomfortable, but in a way where you can't stop laughing because you're so
away. You can't look away. Even if you don't like it, you can't look away.
Yeah,
that makes me wonder if you're also an Eric Andre fan for making for making people uncomfortable. He's really up there.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Nathan Fielder for his weird earnesty. You know what I mean? There's certain scenes where it's just how is I don't know. There's something about it that. But yeah, Eric Andre is great too. I love them all.
Let me in.
Love those people. Next question.
Oh, apologies. All right. So, what's been your experience being a transgender comedian?
How did you know I was transgender?
Because you told me?
I did not. I don't recall disclosing this information as of yet in this interview. That's kind of personal. I'm just kidding.
You made me poo just a little bit.
I guess you figured it out. And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling cis people. Now, being a trans comedian it's fine. I don't know. You know, the thing about being trans is that it's a very traumatizing fucking thing to be, and you need a way to deal with it. And I don't understand why there aren't like tons more trans comedians, because comedy is such a great way to process trauma, and it helps me so much. Like just that joke that I have that's a canned joke, right? But it already says so much about my perspective and about what it's like, and it allows me to communicate that, you know what I mean? And so that's really I'm a dry comedian, I'm an uncomfortable comedian, but I'm also a trans comedian, and part of my job is to be dealing with these issues like in a way that makes people laugh, and it makes people like when someone laughs, then you know they agree with you, and so it helps me kind of like get people to understand what this experience is, because once I know they're laughing, I know they get it, you know?
Oh yes, I agree.
Someone understands.
And
Look, he's hesitating and asking even more questions after you made him shit his pants.
Yeah.
I need to wear.
He's like, are these questions okay? He even put it in parentheses, like, is this question okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna fuck with you though. I'll make it a teaching moment. But yeah, you asked that shit. I want your audience to know.
Oh no, I want people to learn things, man. You know, that's how people expand their minds, their horizons. They need to become aware. Information needs to be spread, you know, for people to
I grew up with a philosophical quote, knowing is half the battle.
Oh, G.I. Joe you, Dan. Don't G.I. Joe me. That's some Hasbro shit there, bro.
Knowing
Dan?
is half the battle.
What the fuck?
What did I say?
God.
You said knowing is half the battle.
It's half the battle, because you think fighting is most of the battle, right? But no, some of the battle, and some of the battle is knowing, but half? That's so much battle dedicated to just knowing.
That's a lot of
battle. Like if you've seen some like old medieval films, it's like, how do I tell the difference between these two different groups?
Speaking
knowing
of
is half of it.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Finish your sentence. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm just saying, his knowing was half of it. Shit, that was shameless.
Yeah, craft crew, dude.
I was like, I'm too sober to have this conversation. Like, this is going too deep.
Speaking of medieval movies, A Knight's Tale got mentioned earlier, and it did not get enough love when you guys talked about it. So I have to talk about it because this movie is a fucking classic, and this
night rocks.
It doesn't get enough love in general. It's so good. It's like Con Air, like in the sense that it has everything.
I own it on DVD. I really, when I say I liked that movie, I love that movie. I own it.
My mom had it.
Okay, first of all, it has what's his name, the guy that plays the fucking android in the Marvel movies. What's his name?
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany, right? It's got Paul Bettany playing the guy that wrote the Canterbury Tales. Which A Knight's Tale is a short story in the Canterbury Tales.
Right.
So it has this whole meta thing going on, and Paul Bettany's character just destroys.
Oh, he's a great actor. Oh,
and then everyone else in the crew, like Heath Ledger is great, yeah, but he's no Heath Ledger as the Joker, but he does fine. But then you also have like the guy who was in Firefly, the pilot from Firefly, who does
Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion.
He was in the movie?
He's in it too, yeah.
I think you know what bothers me is they wanted to do Uncharted like with him, and he's like, all right, well, I like the game, but I'm too old for that. He did do a YouTube short for fans though. If you go look it up, Nathan Fillion doing Nathan Drake as an older guy in Uncharted.
He did it really good.
YouTube. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Tom Holland to play.
Tom Holland is Nathan Drake.
They got Mark Wahlberg, and I was like,
I had to play Sully. Yeah.
Wait, Mark Wahlberg to play Sully?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you
I'm
gotta
like,
be fucking
no.
kidding me, kid.
That's why I was like, I'm not that invested anymore.
Craft Crew dude wants to know what you're drinking, Heather. They want to know what's in your glass.
Oh yeah, I saw that. This is wine. This is okay. I'll show the bottle. This is
American wine.
American wine, the great American wine. Because we're keeping America great over here in the real way, not in some weird propaganda way. We're reclaiming it one glass of wine at a time. This was $6 at the corner store, so that's why I'm drinking it.
There you go, dude. Hey, man.
Hey, my favorite red wine. It's weird because I used to like Merlots and stuff, and now my favorite is the San Antonio Cardinal. And it's like a cheap, red wine mix, sweet red wine mix. The problem is it's also a favorite of like everybody else in my fucking neighborhood. So I only have it every once in a while.
Why is it? It gets emptied from the convenient store?
No, it's from Stater Brothers itself. Yes, I have that kind of money. I shop at Stater Brothers.
Wow.
Hey, don't worry. Like, Aldi has like this $3 sangria that's fire. I'm like, oh my god, this shit is crack. It's like juice. It's like little kid juice. So you like maybe 3 or 4 glasses, and you're like, oh crap, I should text an ex-boyfriend. Like it just hits you, like you don't know. It's the best.
This is why I like wine drunks. Like someone asked if I was. They said it looked like whiskey, and I'm thinking like, yeah, I used to be a whiskey man, keyword being man, and then I stopped hating myself, and now I drink wine.
I love wine. Wine's delicious. Don't lie, man.
I like whiskey too, but I hate the tickets.
That's part of it too. That's why I don't do Xanny bars no more.
Yeah, I don't do whippets right there in front of the police station.
Whippets are fine. Like what happens on a whippet is you just go whoa, and then you like are slow and unresponsive. I don't know. Someone who does a lot of whippets, and it takes them like an extra beat to respond to anything that you ask them. Same with people who do too much ecstasy, but that time's even longer, right? They're just like, oh yeah, just a little extra. Their neurons aren't working so fast no more.
A little slow. A little slow.
Yeah.
It's called eHarmony.
Some kind of harmony.
So you do podcasts. Tell us about the podcast that you do, Heather.
All right. Well, I'm on this one that's really bad, and I don't want to talk about it. I'm on a podcast with Stefan. And weird arch nemesis on the podcast. It's a whole plot that's unfolding. There's character development. We're kind of like the Legolas and Gimli of the podcast. We hate each other right now, but as time goes on, you don't hate me? Oh, I hate. So it's more unrequited hate right now. But
I can't live if you don't give me any hate. I must feed off hate.
Basically, what you're saying is you're building sexual tension.
There's some strong sexual tension going on, like palpable. I'm telling you, this is not me just reading into situations like I always do. This is like real this time.
It's palpable. So what's the name of that podcast?
Oh yeah, it's called The Sick Folks of Cinema. You can catch it. It updates every Friday. Tomorrow we're reviewing Goodnight Mommy, which is a German film from 2014 that's super fucking a lot of things. You might love
about plastic surgery?
There is a plastic surgery thing going on in it. It's not only about that, but that is like one of the sources. That's one of the creep factors going on, is there's someone walking around with a full face mask and people don't know if it's really the person they thought it was before or if it's like a
different person.
I haven't seen the movie, but I read the plot, and that's probably one of my biggest fears if I ever have kids. Look, I am so for plastic surgery. fuck y'all, I'm not gonna age voluntarily. Like, I'm gonna be like, stick that shit all the way back if you need to. But
Right on.
imagine,
Full Donatella Versace.
I want everything done.
yeah, like get that, just put all that shit back. But I'm like,
I want
if
a
I
full
have
mommy
kids,
makeover.
me too. Like, I would totally get one without the kids. I'm like, just fucking lift everything. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to go to the gym.
My vagina's fucked. There's like my ovaries are all hanging out, dangling everywhere.
Oh my god.
Oh,
We're gonna have a conversation later. I like you. But like, I can only, like, that's my fear. Like, if I have a kid and I'm getting like shit tucked and everything, is that bitch gonna kill me thinking it's a monster? Like, mommy's gonna look great later. Please don't fucking kill me. Like,
you have to wait 3 weeks. Until then, hide under your bed.
I'm like, what do I do? That's gonna be like the worst nightmare. That I don't want to see that movie after I read that plot. I'm like, that's my biggest fear because
Your
mom
dog
is
is not
definitely
gonna-
getting work done.
Your
It
dog's
depends,
not
like-
like either.
If you get
As long as
breast
you smell the
augmentation,
They're loyal. They're unconditional. Like, dogs are loyal. They'll smell
Wrap
me.
your head in gauze and find out.
Yeah, he'll
If-
smell
if-
me. He like that. Ooh, that's Eve Saint Laurent. That's my mommy. But a baby or a kid, the bitch is gonna be like, that's not mom. I'm gonna go fucking stab her. Like, that's a monster right there. Like, that's my fear. Okay.
yeah, that's why you should not like take breast augmentation to the wheelbarrowing level, as we call it,
Oh my god. I'm not gonna
because
lie.
then they're just gonna think you're like some monster with one wheel in the front.
Holy moly.
Okay. So I made the decision of getting an augmentation before I had kids, right? Now my biggest fear is if I do have kids and they get bigger, like, am I gonna look awful? Like, am I gonna look like those like crazy women that just like there's a whole other level there? Like, that's the biggest fear I have. I'm like,
let me just say this. Children do not guarantee bigger nitties. Let me just say that. So if you're augmented, children won't. That's a crapshoot. You'll gain whatever weight you gain during pregnancy, but
They will wonder why there's a ball bearing in the way of the milk supply.
I was gonna say, if you the problem is if you wanted to breastfeed, that's what you're gonna have to spend a little time finding out if you can still do that. Like, because that's the only thing that may be impeded, and But as far as whether you'll get, because trust me, I went up a cup size. Like, and then if you work out, and that was all I got out of it. If anything, weirdly enough, because of what it does to your body and everybody's fingerprint, I ended up, my back is broader. So like, I think I went in as like a 36A and I came out on the other side as maybe a 38B or C, not because I'm necessarily a C cup and not because whatever, but it's just because I needed a bigger bra to go around my back and my shoulders. Even when I got back down to a size 8, I still needed a bigger bra, not because of cup size, but because my body had done these other things. So,
Might have been this.
And again, yeah. So again,
for hours.
I'm
Just go the fuck to sleep, you little asshole. I have work tomorrow. Oh my god.
Right. Not to take it out of the fun part of the conversation, but trust me, that is the least of your concerns.
you guys are scaring me. Like, I'm turning 30, so I have to make the decision soon of whether I want to have kids or not. And
Yeah, you have to make the decision soon, or your father must put you in the basement for the rest of your life. Sweater for the rest of the village.
I'm not going to fight people on worry, but I was 34 going on 35 when my child got here. One of my besties is 36 going on 37. Like, whatever they're telling all of us, a lot of that's just not true. And it has become true because people have believed that it's true. None of that shit is true. If you're healthy and you're strong, you can have babies. Well,
I have a condition. I found out, actually. So I got hit by a car on Valentine's Day almost 2 years ago.
Oh, I've seen this movie. What are you doing? Anyway.
But anyway, so I got a lot of MRIs done. They actually found out I had a thing called adenomyosis.
Endometriosis?
No, adenomyosis.
Okay, which is
which
Not
is
Dimitri Martin?
which is
He's one of my favorites too, by the way. Did I mention him? I love his wordplay.
It's an enlarged uterus, okay? It's an enlarged uterus, so it cuts my chances of being able to actually have children.
Which is weird because you think you could have like a gaggle.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
like,
big. Like, what the hell?
I was gonna say, because I know that Heather came on our show to talk about enlarged uteruses and children and bust and cup size. I know that that's what Heather was dying to come on and talk about, my increased bust size and my broader back. I know that.
You want to. So here's the thing. There's a reason that all the horror movies we end up I suggest that we end up watching on Sick Folks of Cinema are about children because I'm terrified of them.
Are you?
Speaking. Like, especially just like creepy white children. Like, I watched.
They put peanut butter anywhere.
I watched A Haunting at Bly Manor, and they have the creepiest set of white children in that movie, and it really shivers me to my bones. Like, Goodnight Mommy is about two creepy German children. You know, it's super creepy. I watched The Children, which was terrible. The most horrific part about that movie was just the fact that the kids wouldn't stop screaming like the whole time. And this was before any of the horror stuff happened. This was just like the setup is a bunch of screaming kids just to remind you, no, you don't. You don't want kids. Like, you really don't. Like, and don't get me wrong.
And to your point, then, to tell you how persistent children are, and and we'll tie up both conversations. I have two girlfriends, not one but two, both that lost a tube, both that lost one side, and one had two children with one ovary and one tube. The other had one. So I'm just telling you all these conditions that I know are fact medically. All of these things about it cutting down your chances to have children. Like, if you believe that, that's what will happen. But it's like Heather said, children are persistent people. They're going to be here. They're going to come out. They're going to run all over. They're here. They're here. They're not going anywhere.
I mean, they're so
They're here to
brutally
scare us.
honest. Like, thanks to social media, I keep seeing all these kids, and I'm afraid to be left alone with white children because I feel like I'm going to end up slapping one of them. I'm like, the disrespect.
White children are scary.
Oh, you just end up in the bottom of an elevator shaft.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my god.
That's right, Heather.
What about like
horror movie? Crazy white children.
Transylvanian children?
Think about the White House insurrection. All of those people were once babies. All of those people were once babies.
White
No,
baby.
they weren't.
White
No,
babies.
those.
Okay.
Giuliani grew those in the sack of Mitch McConnell's shell.
One more time. Didn't hear you.
Giuliani grew those in the sack of Mitch McConnell's shell.
I believe it. You know, they had that the pictures of Mitch McConnell's hand and his lips, and I was like, please, transformation, move forward.
By the way, friendly reminder, I was not there despite this.
Mitch McConnell's probably
Not there.
he was never a baby. That's what I believe. I believe Mitch McConnell was never.
No, he was
an egg.
Yeah,
He was
like
an egg.
he stepped out.
from the abyss. Just
Yeah, like
fully formed.
out of some.
Yeah.
And do
Like,
not
he
forget,
came out of a feeding sack. Like, he came out of a sack to just like feed for a while and then
Right.
return.
Mhm.
Like the mist. Like he came out of the mist.
He's like Grendel,
Come
and
in,
we're just looking for our Beowulf. You know?
Yeah.
you know what?
Him and Lindsey Graham.
Maybe that's the whole thing is like Cthulhu took his chin.
That's the thing. He's like one of the fucking Dagon worshippers, and he's like halfway through his transformation into some weird tentacle creature.
Oh,
Ah.
Dagon is so good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
great.
right. Yeah, so the chin is falling off to make way for the fleshy bits that can grab onto things like pens and pencils.
Okay, so
I think I'm gonna write down something here. This is just beautiful.
Dan, meow. All right.
So my other podcast,
Yes.
it's not a podcast, but I do host a show. It's monthly right now, and it might jump up, but I just barely started it in December, so I'm kind of like fixing it right now because, like your last guest was talking about, my first show was a train wreck. Like,
See that callback right there?
that's literally what my sister texted me and said that it was. She said that it was like a train wreck that she knew the train was going to crash, but she couldn't look away. So she couldn't look away, so that's pretty good. But like, I had guests ask me afterwards if they could be like scrubbed from being mentioned that they were even on the show. Like, it was so bad.
Can you not tell me anybody that, like, I don't know, we know each other? By the way, see you at the party.
But so this show is called News Job, and it airs on the Stab Comedy Theater online network, right? They're they're a comedy theater here in Sacramento where I live, and they're virtual right now. So they have, you know, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, just like you guys do. I don't think they have Periscope though. I've never heard of this before I was reading the description of the show I was going to be on. And so every first Saturday you can catch me hosting News Job, and it's a news comedy game show. And I've done 2 of them so far. The second one, good. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm just going to say that it was really good so that you'll want to tune in. And it's great. So the whole point is to not hear the news. And so you have to answer trivia. And if you get the trivia wrong, then I tell you what the news is. So that's like, it's like one of the things that we do, you know, it's like a news game show, right? So there's other little segments that I'm kind of screwing around with, and I'm still feeling it out. But I used to be a journalist before I became a comedian, and so it's like kind of a nice combination of 2. Like, I went to school for journalism, so it's like a nice little combo of 2 skills that I have. And I really want to be not like the next Daily Show, because there's already 1,000 of the next Daily Shows, but I want to be like the new paradigm shift in news comedy. You know what I mean?
I want to be the next Daily Show. I want to be. I've made no effort, but I that's what I want to be, the next Daily Show. Like,
I'm okay with being the next yearly show. It's fine.
But no, I love that, Heather. I think that's going to be dope. Whatever, like the way you're coming with it.
Check it out. Stab Comedy News Job. You can look up Stab Comedy Theater on YouTube and Facebook and all of the other everywhere. You know, all the things except Periscope. I don't think they're on that, or Parler, because Parler doesn't exist anymore. So they might be on Gab though. I don't know.
Called it parlor. We're all gonna meet in a parlor. We're gentlemen meeting in a parlor. Like, why? What does it mean?
Right. And Heather, I'm gonna make sure I'm following you on Instagram. I can't recall. I lose track of like who we're following.
I haven't gotten a single follow. I'm checking my phone right now. I haven't gotten a single follow from this whole interview. I'm watching this shit.
That's okay. I haven't either. I'm checking myself.
All right. Well, let me make sure.
Follow all of us and follow Heather. Follow us.
In real life.
Just don't follow me to my car, please.
Yeah, don't do that.
Follow me through the hallway.
Not unless you say meow.
So there you are, Heather, and I'm going to follow you. So you have 1 follow as of this broadcast.
Okay. I must just not be getting notifications.
It takes time though. I discovered that, like, because I'm always excited too. But it'll show up. Give it like 3 to 5. But you saw me do it, so it's done.
Okay.
So
follow us.
I will follow you back if you're funny, But of course I'm gonna. That's a joke. I do that sometimes.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you really feel that way? No.
So do you have any shows?
I don't know. Maybe I can never tell if I'm being sarcastic or not. Is my problem.
Do you have any shows?
I think that's a skill. Do you have any shows coming up? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut off.
Yeah. When is this airing? This is pre-recorded, right? We're gonna edit out all the parts.
No, we're live.
We're live.
We're stuck with your history.
And because I bombarded you with breast and uterus talk, we're over time. It's I'll take the fall.
Ooh.
I blame it specifically on the talk about uteruses.
What did you say about my uterus?
I would love one of those, by the way. I'm just saying, like, even if it was too big, I'd be like, whatever. I'll still try,
Does it fit? I think we can make space for it. I think.
Oh my god, I have a live show coming up February 4th that I just got booked for, and I don't know how I feel about it because I feel like we're reopening a little prematurely here in Sacramento, considering we're at 9% ICU capacity.
1 in 3 has COVID now.
I feel like we're kind of doing a yo-yo thing, like where it's like every time we're about to flatten the curve, we're like, oh, cool, we can reopen now, and it just shoots right back up.
I'm bored. I want to go drink in public.
Sergio pays you a compliment, Heather. Heather is dope.
Nice, thanks, Sergio.
Heather Sergio on Instagram.
If you want. Okay, so according to my calendar, I did. Well, that's also a local Sacramento thing. Today, I just filmed. I emceed for the Women's March Sacramento virtual event today, so I pre-recorded some things for that. So that's going to be on Local Access Sacramento and stuff like that. On January 22nd or 23rd. But that's the Women's March, and then I'm also in February 12th. I'm on the Comedy Test Kitchen with Mark Masters, so check that out. These are far away. February 14th, I'm on Cupid's Rejects, which is put on by Suitman Productions.
I'm doing a Suitman show in March, so very cool. I've got a Suitman show.
Which one are you doing in March?
I don't know. Honestly, I forgot I booked it. When I saw the flyer, I was like, when did I say yes to this? And then I went back through my stuff. I just know I think it's March 28th.
He books things super in advance, which I don't mind. But
I remember, I literally had to scroll through, hey, this sounds not vaguely familiar. Let me figure out what this is. And sure enough, we had dialogued around the 16th of this, mid December. And I'm on. I think I'm on an April show, a different show, but I'm on a March. So yeah. So it's just funny when you said Suitman. The only reason I recognized it because I was recently I had to get the first flyer they sent was a little fuzzy, so I was like, okay, resend the. There's all this stuff, so it's top of mind. So
fuzzy flyer.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Duante Barnett, right? He's Suitman Productions, and he booked me for 2 shows a month ago. So that one kind of coming up in a month. Is Cupid's Rejects. And Saturday. All right, so now I'm remembering shit. Saturday is the roast of 2020 on the Liar Comedy. So if you email lockedinaroom.liar@gmail.com, you can RSVP to we're gonna roast the whole year of 2020.
Nice.
Basically. And I should admit, I should explain to people I'm a roast comic. I'm undefeated, 5-0. Small brag.
Nice.
And I recently did my own roast, through Liar. I was the guest of a roast, which was so much fun. It was on my birthday in December. And
when's your birthday, Heather?
29th.
Happy
oh my
birthday.
God, I was the 26th. So
whoa! We're both in that terrible little in-between period between Christmas and New Year. Isn't it the best though? I like it because I get to get all my existential crises out of the way at once.
I just like it because it's just been my birthday for all these years. Right. No, yeah. But all of that right there. I agree with you. Fuck getting older. I was embarrassed. I was on a thing tonight and I didn't realize it was an earth sign. I thought because it's a sea goat, people were talking about the freaking category. So I said, well, I'm a water sign. And then finally, when they deciphered that I was a Capricorn, they're like, it threw us off because you said water sign. You're not a water sign. I was like, oh. Okay.
But it is a water goat, right? Yeah, it doesn't make sense that it's an earth sign and it's half fish, right?
Right.
There's a few other ones that don't make sense like that,
Is Pisces a water sign? The Pisces, is
Pisces is a water sign, but I don't think Aquarius is. And Aquarius is the water bearer.
Right. But Pisces is a fish. So that's yeah.
Well, I do think they have fish birds, and they call them flipper chickens.
So this is now an astrology podcast. Now that we're over time.
Now that we're over time. I guess we're going to take it.
Lastly, I'm doing a live show. If anyone is in Sacramento that sees this, I'll be at Laughs Unlimited February 4th if we don't lock down again. or I come to my senses. And then what is the first Saturday of February? I can't figure that out.
It's actually the 6th because I had to schedule something a little while ago, so it's February 6th. Is the first.
Thank you. So that's when my next news job show is. So tune into that at 9 p.m. on Stab Comedy Theater's virtual streaming services.
Yeah, and Stab Comedy Theater on YouTube. So should we go subscribe right now? Should we be telling people to subscribe?
Subscribe to Stab Comedy Theater on YouTube.
I'm gonna do that right now, and then I'll show you.
Go Venmo me. I have an Amazon wish list on my Instagram link. Buy me shit. I recently, so this is like I got booked on Mark Master's show, the Comedy Test Kitchen, because I was on another show that got raided by white supremacists during my set.
Wow.
I just like tried to turn it into money and was like, here's my Venmo. And I made like $70 just from getting raided by white supremacists and making people feel bad.
That's right. Right?
That's right. Yeah,
that's easy to see within the 5 small squares.
Okay,
I know, right? I was like,
is it going to take us over? Like, because from over here it looks small. But thank you. Sorry about that, you guys. No perspective at all. But I got you. So I followed you twice tonight.
Yeah,
that's talking. Snap Comedy Theater is Jesse Jones, and I don't know who else does it, but it's his thing, and he's great, and I love working with him. He put together all the graphics for my show, and he hosts so many great shows. And he's just been doing like amazing work throughout this pandemic, keeping comedy alive and like adapting to it, you know. And so I'm super grateful to him for platforming me and letting me fuck around for an hour a month, like joking about the news, you know. So definitely follow his YouTube. I'm not the only show on it. There's like
right. No, I thought it was your thing. So you're on there, but it's not your channel. Got it.
No. You can, if you want to follow my YouTube, it's Heather Rogue, but I don't really upload much. I had a podcast I was putting on there. There was like a trans Q&A. I was like, give me your trans questions and I'll answer them. And then I got really sick of people answering the same questions over and over again. I stopped doing that, and I just decided, like, if you want to know, like, you can Google it, you know.
Right. My YouTube channel looks like yours, like 65, like this, like it looks like this too. So it's cool. But I just subscribed, so you're all.
We're tied. We have to compete now. Right. I'm gonna get to 66 first.